I've literally never started a set with that kind of energy before. I've never wielded that kind of power. And I think we can all agree I can't pull it off. You all answered though, didn't you? It's amazing what you can get away with when you've got a microphone. Imagine if we did that in real life. Imagine if I just went on the school run and I was like, "Hey Brenda, you all right?" I said, "I'm all right." I'd love to do that. I wish I could do that. I'm Chrissy. I apologise for my father. I don't think I ever committed a crime. I did once almost steal a foam shrimp from a newsagent, but then I had a crisis of conscience, so I just licked it and put it back. I was very young. I'm glad you're all well. I'm not, physically or mentally. I'm a bit preoccupied at the moment. I'm really preoccupied with a particular poem. So I'm going to bring that to you today, bring the energy right down and give you some unsolicited poetry. I didn't write this poem, it's just a traditional poem, you probably know it. It starts like this. Monday's child is fair of face. It's nice, isn't it? Monday's child's fair of face, nice thing to say. If you're born on a Monday, you're probably very attractive. Yeah, at least I assume that's what they mean by fair. Fair has a few different meanings though, doesn't it? Fair can just mean, middling. It's all right. An appropriate answer to how was the Ed Sheeran concert? Fair. So it could mean Monday's child has a passable face, which is kind of damning with faint praise, isn't it? Fair can also mean blonde or a travelling carnival. Neither of which can really be applied to a face, so I think we can probably rule those two out. And it can also, I suppose, mean the opposite of unfair. So it could mean that in terms of faces, Monday's child isn't unjustly treated. Monday's child, like most children, has a face. It's probably reasonable to assume that they mean pretty though, isn't it? But you can see how dense with meaning this poem is. You can see why it's been percolating around my head. Moving on, Tuesday's child, full of grace. Also nice, 2 for 2, love that for them. If you're born on a Tuesday, your body's probably very graceful. You're probably very good at dancing or football, stripping. Actually, if you want to be a stripper, you'd ideally want to be born right on the cusp between Monday and Tuesday, so then you'd have the attractive face and the graceful body. I might be overthinking this. If you know the poem now, you know where this is going. Wednesday's child, not attractive, not graceful. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Yeah, it's not even like Keanu Reeves, like, whoa, no, it's woe. I've got your number, I know what your level of humour is now. No, it's woe as in misery. If you're born on a Wednesday, your defining feature is that you're miserable. Fuck you if you were born on a Wednesday, according to tradition. So I was born on a Wednesday. I was ADAB, assigned depressed at birth. And to that extent, I've met, if not surpassed, my potential. So, every cloud. But yeah, what a thing to say. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Horrible thing to say. To very quickly finish the poem, Thursday's child has far to go. If you were born on a Thursday, you pop out of your mother's downstairs area, the midwife immediately drop kicks you right across the field, the crowd goes wild. That's what happens if you were born on a Thursday. Friday's child is loving and giving, so if it's not so much stripping as sex work you're into, you ideally want to be born on a Friday. Saturday's child works hard for a living. He has to, because he's not attractive or graceful or kind, but at least he wasn't born on a Wednesday. Finally, the child that was born on the Sabbath day is bonny and blithe and good and homosexual, and that's the end of that. Rubbish. Don't get me wrong, I think it's absolutely delightful and fascinating the way we as humans have this inbuilt instinct to find patterns and meaning in things. But it can mean that we do illogical stuff with it, like trying to categorise humans. And I don't know about you, but I have some traits. Yeah. I have some foibles. There are some things about me that might make you go, And a lot of people would tell you that all of these traits, all of these foibles, all of these things that make you go, are preordained by the zodiac sign that I was born under. And I'm not an especially complex person, but I still don't think that my horoscope can account for all of me. Like, when I recently put both my hands in the bin in a public bathroom because I thought it was a Dyson Airblade, my first thought was not, typical Gemini. No. My first thought was, why is there half a Nando's in here? It's not cheap. If you can't finish it all in the Primark toilets, put it back in the bag, wait till you get to the toilets at M&S. Or, if you're feeling really posh, don't eat peri-peri chicken in the toilet. But that person was a Libra, am I right? No, I'm not, because it's bollocks. So, I think we need better ways to categorise people, if we must categorise people. And my pitch for this, okay, bear with me, the Dewey Decimal System. Okay, if you don't know what the Dewey Decimal System is, it's the system that librarians traditionally use to classify different types of books. And I'm not saying necessarily that I identify more with inanimate objects than I do with human beings, but I'm absolutely saying that. I like books more than people. It's kind of obvious, isn't it? I think, you know, I couldn't come across more like a librarian if every time you laughed I shushed you. But yeah, Dewey Decimal System, 999 categories, still not enough, but better than 12 or 7. And it's a lot less cryptic, and I think it kind of works. I've already started categorising people. I've made a few kind of experimental forays into this. My crush, I need to look at my hand here because I don't know numbers, I only know words. Yeah, my crush I've got under 611, that's anatomy. My ex is 616, diseases. And for myself, I've gone for 157. That was formerly emotions and now no longer used. But my favourite way of identifying ourselves is via the ways in which our brains are broken. And I find that most of my friends will identify with this. They'll describe themselves in terms of what's wrong with them. And for me, you know, I have depression because I was born on a Wednesday, and I also have ADHD, and one of the symptoms of this has the best and the least appropriate name. It's a thing called executive dysfunction. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Executive dysfunction. It just means that you struggle really hard to get anything done. But what a name! Oh, ambassador. With this executive dysfunction, you're really stopping me from eating or going to the toilet. I'm terribly sorry that I couldn't attend your soiree tonight. I was because of executive dysfunction. I was dissociating for a full hour in the middle of getting dressed. And not writing this set. I wrote this set mostly about 5 minutes before I had to leave, wrote it all on my hand, haven't written the last joke. You've been absolutely brilliant. I unfortunately have been Chrissy Derbyshire. Thank you, sorry, please.